If the Dolphins get Dalvin Cook, are they the best offense in the league?
No, because the Eagles are going to get Derrick Henry. Welcome back to another episode of CAPSOFF presented by the Game Day. We don't have Matan today, so we got J. Bobby filling in.
Hey,
what's good,
Bobby?
We're going to talk some NFL draft stuff. We're going to turn some NFC South and AFC South teams into contenders. The last of our turning teams into contenders.
Yeah, the best divisions in the
league. I don't
league.
know how we've gotten this far.
I love the South, bro.
I don't know how we've gotten this far because we haven't turned any of them into contenders. I think when we talked about them, we were just like fucking around, and people were like, "You don't know what you're talking about." When we talked about the Steelers, people,
I never know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Saying.
First of all,
yeah, I don't know. But hey, we're gonna be at the draft tomorrow, starting tomorrow in Kansas City. So if you find us, definitely come say hi. Let's shoot some content.
Where are they going to find us, though? That's the real question.
I don't know.
I don't even know where we're staying. It's just in the Kansas City area.
Are we going to We're going to Kansas City, right?
We're
KC Mo, not KCK.
Ladies, if you're listening, hit Jack's DMs.
Facts.
There you go.
Hit them all.
That's where you're going to find us. But yeah, this weekend, there's actually a lot of stuff that happened over the weekend. So I want to talk about a little bit of it.
Yeah, bro. Warriors big win yesterday. You know.
I know. Hey, Heat up 2-1.
Are they?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mayo, baby.
Bro, the only playoff basketball I've really been watching is the Warriors. So yeah.
Hey, if Giannis, but we lost Victor Oladipo. It's sad. I feel bad for him. Another dude.
Yeah, but you still got like Chris Bosh, LeBron, like coming off. Y'all are okay.
That's
you really think about it. Mario Chalmers.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. No, it's a good point.
Norris Cole, bro. Good.
Come on,
you don't talk about that, right?
No, don't sleep, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Well, that's why we're up 2-1.
That's right.
Against the best team in the NBA. But before we jump into what happened over the weekend, we were talking off screen that if you were rebuilding an NFL team or trying to turn them into an NFL contender, what's the best way to do it? Now, this kind of came up because we were talking about the Falcons right now are the favorites to land Bijan Robinson at the 8th pick. But that's beyond early. That's a lot.
That's fucking terrible.
That's beyond early for a Bijan Robinson. So before we jump into it, I want to hear your take, Bobby. What if you were building a team into a contender, how would you do it? Like, what is the proper, just from a position standpoint?
It's like if you have nothing already.
Obviously, the obvious is quarterback, right? Because if you don't have a quarterback, you can't do dick.
Yes.
But like, if you have a mid quarterback, I think the best thing to do is build
dick.
defense.
If you have a mid quarterback, you can do dick. Right?
Yes. But no, I feel like you need to find defenses. Like, I feel like the reason why like some teams are more competitive is because they have their defense to rely on. So I think you start there and then you work your way down.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know we disagree with it, but for me, it's build the trenches, add some skill position players, and then get the quarterback, build the infrastructure, rather than build the trenches, get the quarterback, then add pieces around him. Because we've seen far too many times teams early on will draft their quarterback, but then they go to a team where they have a shitty coaching staff, they don't have an offensive line, they have no weapons around them, and they just flare out and don't become anything. They don't pan into anything because they have no help around them.
Nah.
I think the most important thing for your quarterback, like if you don't have a quarterback already, fortify the offensive line. Defensive line, sure, but offensive line mainly first so you can protect that quarterback, give him some confidence and protection. If you have enough protection as a quarterback, you can do anything with whatever receivers you have. You have time. Receivers are going to get open.
Look at the Bengals. Like, their line was horrible. For like
but Joe Burrow's just different.
That's what I'm saying. Your quarterback is the most important. Yeah. Like, if you don't have that quarterback,
Well, no, I agree with you. There's no question.
Quarterback's hell important, but I feel like Joe Burrow was a kind of a standalone because – for some, like, coming out of LSU, he was so different. Like, he was so much better than anyone else. He was by far the number one pick in that draft. Like, I think most quarterbacks that teams are drafting now, they're not, like, surefire guys like that. So I'd rather build up an offensive line first and then go get your quarterback. But it just depends when you're drafting.
Let me pose this to you, not to like harp on Daniel Jones, but like if you got Daniel Jones a premier line, you think he's going to be any better?
No.
Yeah. I actually
get better.
But
I think now
it's not even about the line. It's the line and the skill position players. Like what other weapons is he throwing to? So you give him both of that. Yeah, I think he thrives. But when you're the Falcons,
what does thrive mean for Daniel Jones? Because thrive for Daniel Jones is different than thrive for Burrow, right?
I think.
Daniel Jones, if he had all the perfect situation with weapons, offensive line, we'd be talking about him as like a fringe top 10 quarterback.
I would agree with that.
Because of his rushing ability.
I also think, like, again, we have to look at what the Niners have been able to do with middle of the pack quarterbacks.
But it's rare.
I agree with you. It's rare, but it's also rare. What's not rare is the fact that quarterbacks go early in the top 10 and flare out. The Sam Darnolds, the Zach Wilsons, the Baker Mayfields after 1 year in Cleveland, taking them to the playoffs. Like
You can.
I feel like receivers are a surefire pick, though.
No, I'm not saying
not.
receivers.
Like-
We've always said offensive line, though.
I-
So you build if
Yeah.
you could build the trenches and get the quarterback and weapons, sure. But if it's like draft a quarterback early, like the Falcons don't have a quarterback at all, where you're going to draft Bijan Robinson, ride out Desmond Ridder, and then don't have an offensive line.
To be fair, if the Falcons don't think that their quarterback, the future, is in this draft, which if you're at the 8th pick, you probably aren't going to get. I feel like the top 3 guys, maybe 4 guys, will be gone by then. Fuck it.
Don't take
Just
Bijan.
get the next best available,
Don't
whether
take a
that's
running
offensive
back.
line or defense.
Not
I don't
Bijan.
think Bijan is the right
It's
pick
not
with
Bijan.
that.
But that's the point. If you're building it, what's the proper way?
All right, proper way.
For them,
you
it's
need
different
a,
than
you need
it's different than other teams though, because like I don't know.
No
I-
shit, you
in
need a
general,
don't
quarterback.
reach for a quarterback though.
Yeah, I agree. You shouldn't reach for a quarterback.
But the question isn't
Yeah,
shit.
okay, a general team. You need a quarterback, like J. Bobby said.
First, you're going quarterback.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Although I agree with Jack, I wouldn't reach. I would build offense. If there's not a quarterback
to
I
wait till
love,
your guy
then I'm
is
building
there.
the offensive line. I'll reach for an offensive lineman. I won't reach for a quarterback.
Yeah.
So you need the quarterback. Second most important thing, you need the offensive line.
Yes.
And then I would say you need a defense. That's what you need. And it's people forget that a great offensive line makes a great defense because who is the offensive line going against every day in practice? A good defense. So they have to step up. They have to become better. So usually with the good offensive line, you have a good defensive line. And then from there, a good defensive line that can get after the quarterback, you're improving your secondary. So everything kind of rounds out. I think skill positions receivers are the last thing you need. Like straight up.
Yes. I agree with
And
that.
a running back.
But
I mean, we've seen with the 49ers, like they're just a pick and plug offense. Like they
I
have
agree with
weapons
you.
that are
I
really
just-
talented, but
I'm
Plug and play?
building the
Plug and play,
trenches.
that's what it is.
I think the
Thanks.
most
I know, you're
important
close.
thing. I think the most important thing is building the trenches before I get my quarterback.
Nah, that's not true.
Because if I don't,
look
unless
at,
I have the first or second
bro,
pick, I'm not
look-
picking a quarterback at 8. Like,
But look at Wentz.
You're not.
right?
So you're saying if you're the first overall pick, you're the Cincinnati Bengals when they were going to draft Joe Burrow, right? They have no offensive line at that point. You're like,
yes,
you know what?
I'm picking Joe Burrow because
Okay,
I know,
exactly.
but
But
I know
that's
what
if
Joe
you know
Burrow
your
was.
guys there.
I
You're
know
gonna
what
get
Trevor Lawrence was. I don't know what any of these quarterbacks are. Even Bryce Young.
Yeah, but
who
that's
was-
what he's saying. Then you go draft
that's what I'm
an
saying.
offensive line.
I agree with you. I'm saying
Yeah.
offensive line first, no matter what.
I
That's
would.
how I'm
I would
building.
still, if I'm the
No,
Panthers,
not no
I'm
matter
not,
what. You just said you took offensive line no
you
matter
can't
what,
do
but you
that.
just said you would take Joe Burrow if Joe Burrow's there. So not no matter what.
So it's not no matter what. It's
not no
if
matter
you
what.
know that
So we
quarterback
agree.
is your
Okay.
fucking guy. You're
If
getting
Joe
him.
Burrow and Trevor Lawrence are on the board, I'm drafting them.
I'm doing it
If
for
they're
Bryce
not on
Young,
the
too.
board, I don't know. I don't
If
even
you're the
know.
Panthers, you wouldn't draft a quarterback.
Panthers need obviously Bryce Young, but I'm also
in this
I don't
situation
want
as
the
well,
one
you're getting a
pick.
quarterback.
There's too many things.
Look, I think it depends
There's
on
no
the draft.
Is Joe Burrow better than Bryce Young? Coming out of college.
We don't know.
Coming out of
Yes,
college, yes.
coming
Coming
out of college,
Yeah,
yes.
come
Better
on.
Was
prospect.
Trevor Lawrence?
Better prospect,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, I'm drafting them too over Bryce Young.
Well, yeah.
That's fine. There's going to be some
But
Caleb
that,
Williams
but
next year.
dude, those are two guys that you could argue top 5 quarterbacks.
So Caleb Williams next year is going to be an elite prospect, right? Him, probably. I mean, we got to see how he plays next year because we've seen a lot of like
He's
quarterbacks
that
can
dude.
have a bad year and then it worsens their prospect.
Especially
But
USC quarterbacks, that's happened a lot.
So a majority of the time, what
Bobby.
position comes first?
majority of the time, quarterback comes first.
All the time, every single time. Because
Yeah.
if you pass on a quarterback, you look like a dickhead if they pan out.
Here's what you're not
building my
considering,
trenches
Adam. You're
first.
talking about all the quarterbacks
It
that
doesn't
have.
make sense.
I'm building my trenches first.
Adam, you're thinking about
So
all
if
the
you're the
quarterbacks who
Panthers,
have busted.
you're fortifying your offensive line.
because there's no
Or you're
praise-
drafting Jalen Carter
Here's
for
the-
the defensive
no,
line.
I'm
Here's the
first
thing.
No, I'm
overall.
not.
No,
You're-
exactly.
it's a
You're,
case-
you're drafting Bryce fucking Young.
Okay, but I don't have the first pick. I'm Adam Tabachnik. I'm not drafting.
You go so.
Bro, you're
here's-
going against what you're saying like already.
Here's the problem. You're considering all the picks that have all the quarterback picks that have busted in the past few years. That's fine. But when we talk about teams who have won Super Bowls, it's always teams with most of the time it's teams with quarterbacks that were drafted in the top 10, top 5.
Yeah,
Think
you
about-
have your
obviously-
Jalen Hurts. You have
Or
your.
I wouldn't even say top 10, top 5, but it was a first round quarterback most of the time. When you talk about Peyton Manning, when you talk about Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady's a very big exception.
crazy.
But the guys who are competing now, Burrow, Josh Allen, Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, all these guys were these teams went out in the first round to go get their
I'm
guy.
not saying you don't get
and
a
they're the only
quarterback.
teams
I'm not
competing.
saying you don't get a quarterback. I'm just saying the first pick is an outlier type of situation. If you have a top 10 pick and you believe your quarterback's there, go get your quarterback. I just think to generalize the entire conversation, the most important thing is to have an offensive line around that quarterback. Obviously, if your quarterback's there, you're going to go get him.
Yeah,
but
if you don't have
building
a
the
quarterback,
trenches is the
There's
most
a lot,
important thing.
but also there's a lot other ways to build up the trenches and not have it be in the draft. You can trade,
That's
you
true.
can sign free agents, you can draft offensive linemen in the first round. They're gonna hit most every time.
Yeah,
but you can also find a stud in the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, whatever the fuck you got.
I don't know, dude. I just had personal experience with the Cowboys in the mid 2010s when they built that insane offensive line. Before that, Romo was running for his life year after year after year. They built an offensive line year after year. They were drafting Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, Tyron Smith. The fan base hates it because they want you to
it's
go
not the
draft.
flashy pick.
Yeah, they want you to go draft like the star receiver. But the team builds that, and all of a sudden, in 2 years, you go from a mediocre team to one of the best teams in the league because you have a great offensive line.
I'll say this. I feel like Dallas always takes the sexy pick, though.
They do.
Well,
That's
yeah,
why
but
they're
that's
gonna
when they
get
started.
Bijan.
They have in the past, and that's why they started changing towards like an offensive line type thing. But then they did take Zeke, which was a very flashy pick. But at that
Seedy
point
flashy.
that they took Zeke, they already had the offensive line. That's why they were so good. So I think they're in a similar position this year, where pretty solid team overall, and they
Flashy
could take
pick incoming.
A flashy pick could possibly be there. But so bringing it back to Bijan, because Bijan would be that flashy pick. If he goes at 8 to the Falcons, it just doesn't make sense.
That's such a reach.
I agree. Like, you're not reaching for a quarterback because if nobody's there that you absolutely love and you think is your guy. But if you're not doing that, you're not going to go for a running back. You should go for an offensive line.
Or defense.
You should go for offensive line,
Something,
defensive.
bro.
Like,
They have actually an underrated defense, the Falcons.
they do, and they've
Yeah,
been
after
adding
this
to it this
offseason.
offseason.
Falcons, if they go, I don't know. But
Yeah,
All
well,
right.
if it was like 10 years ago, though, like, you could argue Bijan would be worth it for them.
I just think I'm not. Yeah, it could go either way. You obviously need a quarterback. I'm not discrediting that. I just feel that we've seen so many quarterbacks. They're young. They get drafted. They have no help, whether that be offensive line or skill positions. Then they go elsewhere and they could thrive, but sometimes they end up getting out of the league. So it's just there's no exact
think about, like-
science because it's case by case basis.
It is case by
but
case, very much so.
I prefer the route the Eagles went.
Yes.
This past year, when going after the Jalen Hurts and building up the trenches, they've consistently had a great
But
offensive
what was
line
the
for
last
many
thing
years.
that they added?
Was the wide
skill
receiver.
position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we said that with the Bears for next year. They're going to go out and trade
But I
for.
thought you were saying you go trenches, skill position.
No, I said
then-
trenches, quarterback, skill position.
Oh, I was.
Without a
mixing it
defense,
up.
you're not going to win, though.
Agreed. But trenches, defensive line is in my trenches.
That is a trenches, yeah.
Yeah, but what about a star corner like Jalen Ramsey?
Of course, I would love a Jalen Ramsey.
Across
they have
from
an AJ
Xavier
Terrell.
Howard, of course. Or,
Well, we're not talking about what?
Since we're talking about the draft and running backs, and I
Yeah.
just give like a random like fact or stat, whatever.
Please.
Sure.
So in the 1999 draft, the Saints gave up their first round, third round, basically
For
all
Ricky
their picks in
Williams?
the draft,
Williams.
and then the next year, first round pick and the third round pick in the
Damn.
2000 draft. The year after, they gave up all their picks and 2 picks after that for Ricky Williams.
Shout out
It's
Miami.
insane.
What?
Yes,
It's insane.
and then Ricky Williams came out the other day and said like, I wouldn't have done it.
Bro, could you imagine nowadays if you traded 2 first rounders and 3 other picks for a running back?
Premier
wouldn't-
wide receivers can't even get like that type
Bro,
of
you
return.
couldn't get
quarterbacks barely
Josh
do that.
Allen for that.
Yeah.
Hook 'em, baby.
No, facts. That's crazy to see how much we know. Like, running back has been devalued over the past decade, but the past 2 decades, that's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah, bro. Like now, like I don't know if I can say this, but if a GM did that, they'd be executed.
Yeah. They'd be
That's
put on
staying,
the
that's
stake.
staying in the podcast for sure.
Well, speaking on running backs being devalued, Derrick Henry to the Eagles was a rumor that was going around this past weekend. I don't know who
shit in my
tweeted
pants
it.
when I heard that might
Someone
happen.
tweeted it, but I don't
Yeah,
even
it
think
was
it was
going around.
confirmed. I know A.J. Brown was recruiting him as well. There's some like the Titans and Eagles have worked together, obviously, with A.J. Brown.
I
But
think the A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry have the same agent, too.
oh, is that what it is? That makes sense. Well, then let's do a fill in the blank. Derrick Henry on the Eagles is what?
Unfucking fair.
Unbelievable.
2 uns.
I don't have a word. It just fits. It works.
It's you know what it is? It's annoying. So fucking
Not if you're
annoying
an
if that
Eagles
happened. As a fan of an NFC team, I'd be so pissed off. Like when I saw that was happening, I literally I was with my buddy from back home. We were golfing. He's from the Bay Area too, and we just looked at I looked at the text he sent. I was like, dude, we're fucked. And he's like, what? I'm like, Derrick Henry to the Eagles, and we were just like, dude, this is so fucked up.
It makes the most sense for like what that team needs. Obviously, there can be many reasons as to why I think that they lost in the Super Bowl, but I think that they just went away from what they did best all year, which was ground and pound. They were
Miles
all
Sanders was not playing much in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
at all.
well,
It
he
was-
dropped.
it
I
was
think he
Gainwell
fumbled or
and-
some
Yeah,
shit. And he
yeah.
dropped
Boston
the ball.
Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. I know everyone's gonna be like Kenneth Gainwell was fine, Boston Scott was fine, but we're talking about Derrick fucking Henry here, one of the
Yeah.
best
Bro,
running backs in the NFL. Whether you like him or not, I know you don't think he's.
No, I think he's one of the best. I
Yeah.
just don't think he's top five.
You think he's one-dimensional?
Well, actually,
He is
no.
one-dimensional,
He's
but
grown
if
on
you-
me after I traded for him in Dynasty.
Oh,
But
nice. But
Yeah, well,
he-
he's good for it.
you need him to be one-dimensional. If the Eagles trade for Derrick Henry, he's allowed to be one-dimensional, a read option with Jalen Hurts, and then you have A.J. Brown. Like, they'd be the scariest offense in the NFL. Facts? Foolish?
Yeah, 100%.
scariest, yeah, they'd
For
be the
sure.
most. They're a video game team with Derrick Henry.
That's one on paper. You look at it, you're like, how the hell does this team not go 17?
Behind that offensive line.
Because that
Yeah.
team, that's what it is. Because that team can run, and they had a good run offense. But as we've talked about on many occasions, having a good run offense doesn't mean that you have a great running back. You don't have to. You just have a good offensive line and good running schemes. So Derrick Henry in that system though gives them. It's a cheat code you don't need because they had a great rushing offense last year, but
Yeah.
now you get Derrick Henry behind that offensive line, the guys that we always talk about, Lane Johnson and Kelsey and Mailata and all them motherfuckers. Derrick Henry is another one of them, bro. It'd be scary.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong, right? When Derrick Henry was he is on Tennessee, but like when Ryan Tannehill, when they got to the playoffs, all they would do is load the box.
Yeah.
And after, like, Ryan Tannehill's not scaring you vertically.
No.
And they didn't have the receivers
You're
to scare
daring
you
Ryan
vertically.
Tannehill to beat you.
I mean, they had A.J. Brown, but at the same time, still Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
Now you have Jalen Hurts with all the weapons they have, and also that motherfucker can run and do all types of magician shit. So I feel like anytime you have a running back that can take the pressure off a quarterback, like fucking Derrick Henry, it's going to be fucking
Yeah.
unstoppable.
Or-
And I feel like if you're trying to win a Super Bowl now, you have to pull that trigger because that
That's
window
true.
is going to be short, especially because all the money you paid Jalen Hurts. I think it's time to do that. Like
Yeah,
now.
or even vice versa with that. Like you said, if they load the box against Henry, it's going to open up outside. What if they don't load the box, they open it outside, and then Derrick Henry's going to run like
Well, you have to
fucking
make a
crazy.
decision.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you're in
you-
You have to
defense.
pick your poison. You have
Yeah.
to pick your poison. But
Yeah.
you're gonna get beat
you
either way.
you have to eliminate either Jalen Hurts or Derrick Henry from beating you, but one of them is still going to go off. Both of them won't, but one of them's going to go crazy against you.
Or both,
Any
of,
given
or
day.
both, or both of them
Or
will.
both, yeah.
Unless
like,
you want to go draft a Bijan at 10.
that's more affordable.
No, that you're paying too high a price.
I agree. I think you should trade for Derrick Henry. I think when you look at the situation, Derrick Henry, you said it off the pod, is that he'll probably take a pay cut to go.
He would.
Tennessee's going to have to eat some of
He's
that
proven.
contract.
That's why I think it makes sense, and that's why it's like scary because it's not like we're taking the best running back in the league who's going to be asking for a top dollar to go to Philadelphia. Like Derrick Henry took a pay cut when all the running backs were getting big contracts. Christian McCaffrey got the highest contract. Zeke got a super like $90 million. Derrick Henry was okay being like the fifth highest paid running back. He was okay not being the highest paid running back back when running backs were still getting valued. Now running backs aren't valued at all. And Derrick Henry understands that he's going to be entering. I don't even know how
Later
long
half
he's
of
been,
his
like
career,
his
yeah.
8th year or something
he's
like
like
that,
28
probably
or
7th
something.
year.
Yeah.
And so he's already an older running back who's been in the league for a while, and he doesn't have the versatility. He's not a great pass catcher, as we've always talked about. He's also not the best pass protector. So he only brings one thing. I think he understands his value very well. He'd be willing to take a pay cut and go try to win a championship in Philly because we know he's not going to win in Tennessee.
And as important or as unimportant, I guess, as we say running backs are now in the league, he's one of the only ones in the league I think that is so game breaking that you give whatever you can to get him if you're the Eagles. Because if you're trying to
Well,
win
You
now,
might only have to give up like a fifth round.
that's
pick.
the
that's what
thing.
I'm saying. Like, why the fuck would you not do that?
Yeah, I agree.
So Derrick Henry is 29, and he's been in the league for 7 years.
I was all right.
Same draft class as McCaffrey.
Yeah, he's a second round pick. Henry was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you're the Eagles, you have to. That would be the
Can't believe
scariest
he's second round
offense.
pick after
The Eagles
winning
with
the Heisman.
Derrick Henry would by far be the scariest offense
Versatility,
in the NFL.
that's it.
I don't think that's a question. But yeah, that's it. Also, what happened this weekend? Gambling. Guess a big issue in the NFL. If you didn't know, you can't gamble. The Lions.
Well, you can.
Well, you can theoretically, but yeah.
But if you are an NFL player, listen to this.
So for those that don't know, there were a few Lions players that were caught gambling. A few did it gambled, I believe, on the NFL. I can be corrected if I'm wrong.
No. Oh, I thought most of them didn't.
Well, two of them are suspended indefinitely. The other are suspended for 6 games.
6 games.
Yes, Ben?
Did it on the team facility. That was the issue.
Yeah.
That is one of the issues. 2 of which are suspended indefinitely, which I believe means that they were gambling on the NFL.
Yeah, that's fucked.
The other 2, one of which was
Depends on the game.
Jamison Williams, which is huge because he's their rookie wide receiver from last year.
He's fucking good.
Was caught gambling, but didn't gamble on the NFL.
Therefore-
Bro, he is only suspended for 6 games, but he
Right.
did it in the team facility, which is
But
crazy because if you're in the
fact
NFL,
that you're suspended a third of the season for not gambling on the NFL just because you gambled on team facilities is fucking crazy.
the fact
Half
that
these
if you
stadiums,
walked off,
half these stadiums have fucking sports books in them.
it's
It's
bullshit.
so contradictory.
That's
It's
bullshit.
ridiculous.
If you can do it outside of the facility, if you could go home and place that exact same bet, but if you do it at the facility, it's considered you get suspended. It's
like,
bullshit. It's
who
ridiculous.
the fuck knows if they're even doing it at the facility too? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's documented where these guys are placing their bets, like and stuff. They're just getting tracked by like DraftKings
I
or
feel
whatever.
like this is the new stay off the weed, bro. Because I feel like players shouldn't be allowed to gamble at all, right? So, like, whether it's on the facility or not, if it's not the sport, like, just leave it out of the fucking sport while you're playing. Active players should not gamble because I feel like, what's the point? You're getting paid millions of fucking dollars, right? Why do you need to gamble? You don't need to gamble like me.
Well, I don't either, but it's fun to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I do. So
Yeah,
I
like-
put my $10 in. So like, I when I lose $10, it's the world ended. So you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
But no, what I'm saying is, I just don't think it makes sense for you to play with your career and your team, especially seeing what happened to Calvin Ridley. I don't think
Whole
anybody
year.
should even be playing with that type of fire. It doesn't make any sense. to me.
Yeah.
Well, you would have thought Calvin Ridley's precedent was set. When the NFL was like, you're going to be suspended for an entire year for betting, but then you got other guys that want to go out there and bet and risk their career
Well-
and put their team in jeopardy. That to me is stupid.
You know, I think players should be allowed to bet on their team or themselves, though.
Nah,
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
bro, what?
What's-
They're gonna start throwing games and shit. What are you
No,
talking
you're
about?
not throwing games if you're betting on your team to win or you to play well.
Well, you could bet
Yes, you
technically
can.
on your
You
team
can bet
to
against
lose.
yourself.
No, I'm saying if you're betting on your team
He's
to
saying
win.
you can only bet on your team. Like if
Like,
I'm,
if I-
if
if
I'm
you're
Calvin
betting
Ridley
on
on the
your- if I'm
Jaguars,
Calvin
I can
Ridley,
only bet
I
on the
bet
Jaguars
Only the Jaguars to win.
to win.
That's it. Like
How do you
if,
regulate
Therefore, you
that?
can't throw again.
I don't know, but I think if you're doing that, like if you're betting against your team, that's all fucked. That's
That's a
where it gets
slippery
crazy.
slope,
bro.
It is.
Here's a problem. Here's where
It's
that
like
would-
boxing, though.
Here's where that wouldn't work.
Boxers are allowed to gamble on themselves.
Yeah.
That's totally legal.
That's one person sport. Like,
But here's why
I
it wouldn't
think
work.
it's-
If I'm CD Lamb, right, on the Cowboys, and yeah, I can bet on the Cowboys. Well, what I could do is I'm playing the Eagles. Damn, we just pay the Eagles to beat us. That sucks. But what I could do is I can Venmo Jalen Hurts $10,000 to bet on himself, and then
like a
purposely
hedge.
throw the game
Yeah.
myself, and then Jalen Hurts gives me the money that he makes.
It's a slippery slope.
So you can find ways around it. It's a slippery slope. You probably shouldn't be allowed to bet. Period.
nah, fuck that. I don't feel like we should be arguing for people to bet, like, especially when you're making millions of dollars, bro. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like I
You're
just think it's
degenerate.
stupid in general. Like
You're degenerate.
if you want to
Yes,
fucking
that's it.
gamble, fucking gamble. Like whatever. Just
But you don't see the problem with
no,
that,
No,
though?
I understand. Like don't bet on the NFL, but they're not even betting on the NFL. These Lions players. That's what I don't
No,
understand.
I think 2 of them they must have if they were suspended.
If they're suspended indefinitely, then a
maybe.
couple of them probably were. And I don't even have a problem with those guys because I don't know who the fuck they
Yeah,
are.
they're nobody's.
So who cares? Jamison Williams, though, didn't.
He's a stud.
I agree. I agree with. Was it you that said that, or one of y'all that said that it's ridiculous? He could just step off of the team, out of the team facility, and bet, and he would be okay. I think that's really stupid. So get rid of that rule. But and I'm not too passionate about this.
Yeah,
I don't think players should bet, especially not on the NFL.
But hey, if you do want to bet, you can go to thegameday.com. You won't get in trouble
That's
there.
a fact.
All right, there.
Every
Promos.
you're talking to every NFL player, right?
Yep. Jameson, I'm looking right at you.
Hey, wait.
Wanna bet? Go to
TheGameDay.com gives you the
thegameday.com.
best fucking deals, bro.
Yep.
Seam admitted real quick because I know you're a big baseball boy.
Yeah.
Pete Rose, most hits of all time, not allowed in the Hall of Fame because he
Yep,
bet on
'cause he
himself.
bet on
What are your
himself.
thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's fucking ridiculous. Pete Rose, man. When you talk about
one
fucking
of the greatest of all time.
the ultimate seamers of seamers, bro. You know what I mean? Like this guy on the diamond, man. Oh,
What team did he play for again, bro? I forgot.
Pete Rose,
The Cardinals?
the Cardinals,
Right color.
this is the
You're on
Reds.
The Reds, baby. Yeah,
The
there
Reds.
you go. There you go.
And
I took an American.
well, you
American
said right
history
color.
baseball
Cardinals are
class
red,
or
so you
whatever.
just have to add an S to red.
Reds, oldest franchise in baseball.
That's right, Cincinnati.
All right, well, moving on. Yeah,
Seam
Jameson,
admitted,
I'm
baby.
sorry. If
Bro,
you're a
that's-
Lions fan, it sucks.
That was the seam head second.
Oh,
There's-
nice.
there we go.
Seam
Nice.
had second.
Yeah.
The Seam had 7 seconds.
Last year, we had a few players get traded during the draft. The biggest name was probably A.J. Brown. But
Yeah.
this year, we're probably going to have some huge names traded during the draft. So I just want you to kind of give your take on it, anyone's take on it. So these players are likely to get moved during the draft. Aaron Rodgers, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, D-Hop, and Austin Eckler.
Add Trey Lance to the list too.
And Trey Lance.
Trey
That's a
could go.
fantasy team right there. Like this might be these drafts are getting more and more exciting because I think as we've said, the positional players, these skill players are getting devalued. So you're getting sent away for a fifth, a sixth, a fourth, like nothing.
Well, and I feel like teams are using leverage with like picking on draft day with like you
Exactly.
you need to make this pick today. Like a lot of pressure on the pick. They're using that to leverage getting a star receiver, or corner, or whatever the hell.
Well, you're the Jets fan. You want Aaron Rodgers, or are you over it now at this
I'm
point?
so tired of this shit, bro. At this point, like I want to just draft a quarterback at this point because I feel like just the trauma that's been coming with this for the whole fucking 2 months now. I feel like just bring your ass over here, like at this point. But I feel like the Packers are holding us hostage. Like
They are.
Like they're trying to get the fucking world for Aaron Rodgers, which is like fucked up. So we're kind of in a tough position. So I understand why he's not a New York Jet yet, but I think eventually. At the draft, he will be a Jet, and then it will be some bullshit.
Bro, I heard this week.
Regardless, we're going to get fucked.
You're gonna Jets, bro. I was talking to one of my buddies this weekend. He was like, "Dude, this feels so weird. Like, there's something about it. It just feels like Aaron Rodgers." So, Aaron Rodgers with COVID, he said he was immunized, but he wasn't vaccinated.
Right.
He says he has all the intentions to play this year. Does that mean he's even gonna fucking play this season?
point.
I don't know. He's so smart with his words, and I hate to call him smart because he's a fucking dumbass. But like,
Nah, I think he's pretty smart.
like it's just like one of those things.
Cal
I feel
kid.
like I don't even know if he's going to play this year, even if he gets traded to the Jets.
Well, no,
I
I think
I don't know,
Yeah,
bro.
no, I
he
think he
might
gets-
pull some bullshit.
if he
he's
gets
gonna
traded to the Jets, he's going to play. If he doesn't get traded to the Jets,
It's
that's when I
his
think
choice.
maybe
He
He's
can
not.
retire.
he's a like.
Nah, if he gets
hooper,
traded,
not
he
a
gotta
hooper.
play.
You know what I mean? He's
No,
a
he's
baller.
pure hooper,
You know what I'm
Alex. Yeah,
saying?
no,
Like
he's
he's
pure.
gonna play. He wants to play, but it's just like it's
Yeah.
not in his control, really.
I agree,
don't
though.
know.
There's something about this
There's
Jet
something weird.
situation that feels off.
something
Like,
weird.
it feels weird. To your point of the hostage, if you can't give up a first-round pick for Aaron Rodgers, what the fuck are we doing?
I think
Like,
they want more than that.
I'm sure, but they probably, from what I've heard, from what everyone has said, that being Twitter, it's a first-round pick that's being like held up. Not the 13th, but do the Jets have two
Bro, see,
firsts?
that's what you hear when you subscribe to
so.
Twitter Blue.
I don't remember.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's what happened. Yeah,
Don't
you
quote me
subscribe
on
to
that.
Twitter Blue. I don't know. If you have to pay a first-round pick for Aaron Rodgers, fuck it.
Yeah.
He's Aaron Rodgers. He's deserving of that.
Just do it. Roll the dice. Like at this point, get it fucking over with.
Yeah.
Don't make your fan base like J. Bobby's just here, just like.
Well, that's the
shambles.
problem. Is the Jets are hanging on this, bro. Like, if you don't get Rodgers, then you're fucked.
You're fucked.
You know
another year
you're
Zach
not going to
Wilson
win
in you?
without Rodgers. And it's not that Rodgers is the only guy that's going to make you win, but there's no other options out there right now. So you need Rodgers.
put all your eggs
You
in
lost
one
out on
basket.
your Jimmy G, which a lot of people thought might have been a good signing or some
We
shit.
didn't lose out on Jimmy G, bro.
You hate Jimmy G. You think
I
he
just know
sucks.
he's not gonna bring us to the Super Bowl.
No, but Derek Carr could have been a guy potentially.
Derek
but
Carr could have
nah,
done
he's.
it.
They have one pick. The Jets have one pick. Yeah.
So yeah,
I
Derek Carr
guess-
could have been that guy. They didn't get him. Like now you're limited in options.
Yeah.
Unless Zach Wilson just turns the fuck up, which I know you don't believe in.
Listen, man, I'm gonna hold this on. Anybody but Zach Wilson. Honestly, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Bobby
Doesn't
would
believe in
sound-
You
him.
want Trey Lance? We'll trade you Trey
You
Lance.
need
I'll
Rodgers.
take Trey
I would
Lance.
take Trey
I'll
Lance
take
on the
Trey
Jets
Lance.
for sure.
Why not?
What about
Well-
Sam Darnold? You want him back?
He'd be better than Wilson right now.
I never
Donald
hated
got-
Sam Darnold. I just think
He was in
Adam
a bad
Gase was
situation.
a fucking terrible.
Donald got fucked by the situation.
Yeah.
That's why we don't draft.
Who was it?
quarterbacks.
Adam Gase? Yeah.
Yeah.
God, he was bad.
Yeesh.
All right, well, let's
Both of y'all
talk
know
about
about
let's
that.
talk about the other guys. Then we already know the Jets are getting fucked right now.
Dalvin
If they get
Cook.
Rodgers, they'll be okay.
Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry. We just said we were talking about him with
They
the
can help
Eagles.
some teams.
I do see Derrick Henry getting traded. The Jets and the Eagles and the Titans worked together last draft. I could see them working together again
Yeah,
this
the
year.
Eagles.
I think Dalvin, there's a huge possibility if the Dolphins don't pick at 51, a running back or someone doesn't fall. Hey, Matan just walked in. That they're going to trade 51 or even like a third or a fourth for Dalvin Cook. Is he coming in?
He's walking in. What the fuck do you want, Matan?
Aaron Rodgers to the Dolphins. No, I'm kidding.
Whoa.
What's up, guys?
Matan
How's
just
it
comes and
going?
goes, Aaron
I'm
Rodgers to the
sorry,
Dolphins.
I had a doctor's appointment.
Adam's face
but
just looked like.
There's
What
no
are we-
way I got,
what are we
like,
talking
I felt
about?
Weird.
We're talking about Aaron
NFL
Rodgers to the Cowboys.
Classic.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll let you guys cook. But
Thanks, man.
I'll be doing other shit.
Hey,
Jay
good
Bobby, he can have my spot.
Hey, go Giants.
Hey, go Giants.
Yeah, hell yeah, Matan.
And then
You look
D-Hop.
good.
Honestly, I'm kind of over all these players. We've talked about them all off season.
Let's talk about the Dalvin Cook shit, bro.
All right, be my guest.
Nah, so where do we think that Dalvin Cook ends up?
Philly.
Miami.
Why?
Because I think there's been where there's smoke, there's fire, and I think when
There's a lot of smoke in Miami.
there was a lot of smoke, It was confirmed that Miami was the team that reached out and tried to trade for him. Zach Hiller, his agent, came on and pretty much shit on the Vikings, shit on the fact that they've been mediocre, and was like, kept emphasizing, I can't really talk about this. Like there was something he kept hinting at that he couldn't talk about.
There's something. Yeah.
And there's obviously something there. If you can't talk about it, what else is there to talk about besides Dalvin Cook's health? You're going to tell me Dalvin Cook, he was talking about his shoulder, but clearly what he's referring to is that Dalvin is going to get cut or traded. And then it comes out that last weekend, I think it was, Adolfo Mensa, whoever the GM is, in a press conference, they say to him, is Dalvin Cook going to be on the roster next year? You could bluff. You could be a great poker player. Just answer the fucking question. He took 30 seconds, thought about what he wanted to say, and said, obviously we'd love to have him on, but we're exploring all options. I mean, that's the most GM-like thing to say, but you could have just answered that a lot quicker and said, yeah, we'd love to have Dalvin Cook. We're planning on having Dalvin Cook on our team this season. So if you look at all those pieces, Dalvin Cook's been linked to Miami. He works out in Miami. And if they were the team that already tried to trade
Florida,
for him,
right?
He's from
Florida,
Florida. Yeah. He went to FSU. So I don't know. I think Dalvin Cook ends up in Miami sooner than later, unless the Dolphins end up drafting a running back. But it's a very similar move to like the Eagles. You need to kind of go all in and have like a dynamic
if the Dolphins
fit.
get Dalvin Cook, are they the best offense in the league?
No, because the Eagles are going to get Derrick Henry. And
If they don't get Derrick Henry, let's say hypothetically,
No, they're
right?
not.
They get Dalvin Cook, they got Waddle, they already got Tyreek Hill, and they got Tua back there.
They have a lot of good skills.
They have a lot of
Lots of good
You
weapons.
could argue that they have one of the best skill position groups
In the
units
NFL,
in
for
the
sure.
league.
But
the best offense, I wouldn't say that yet, just because.
So who's the best offense?
Tua's not the best.
I would probably still say the Eagles because the offensive line. Like the offensive line means so much for a team and their success, and the Dolphins' offensive line is fucking ass.
I would still say that if the Chiefs draft Jahmyr Gibbs, then I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
But they have no one.
they have
no one.
They do. Travis Kelce.
And then they don't have a 2. They have a 4 and a 5 and a 6.
Sky Moore.
Nah,
fast.
so apparently.
Richie James.
Really fast.
Nah, so, yeah, apparently the Chiefs are looking at Zay Flowers. Talking about the agent also represents Zay
I
Flowers.
think Zay Flowers would be a better pickup for them than Jahmyr Gibbs. Personally.
Possibly, yeah.
They don't
I mean, it would help
need
Mahomes
Yeah.
more, most likely. I don't know. But yeah, no, the Dolphins are up there in terms of like skill position. But the offensive line also isn't amazing. So
Yeah, the offensive line was bad.
yeah, so the offensive line not being great and Tua being good, but not a top
What would
5
you
to 7
say?
quarterback.
If the Dolphins got Dalvin Cook, where would that offense rank in the NFL?
It would at least be top 3, honestly.
The offense,
Yeah. Because we're taking away the offensive line, right? I think we can make some moves. Because if we're talking about like hypotheticals and what's going on, I think if you get Dalvin Cook, you're like, all right, we have to beef up on the offensive line. We have to make a change.
but you're
it
not.
doesn't-
You can't. That's not how it works.
What do you mean? Free agent?
Oh, now we get
Yeah,
Dalvin
but
Cook.
there's no
but there's no
like-
like free agent offensive lineman like that. You
Yeah.
can't just like snap your finger and all of a sudden you
Could
got a
make
good
a
offensive
trade.
line.
Could make a trade.
Yeah, but now you're giving away pieces. So now what are you giving away?
Well, I'm just saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not the GM.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, if you had to beef up that offense, because I feel like skill position wise, I think Waddle and Tyreek Hill is scary already. And I feel like
They're scary as fuck.
if Tua can stay healthy and
good.
not get any concussions,
Then they're
I
really
feel
good.
like they can really do things. Now, if you have a Dalvin Cook, because they didn't have a running back, and somebody can take the pressure off fucking Tua, so Tua doesn't have to
Agreed.
make a stupid mistake, I think that can elevate Tua's play in that offense. So I definitely think they're top 3.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Top 3. I just can't say they're the best. Adam was trying to not be partial right now, but he's really happy about what you just said. I just think like you look at other offenses too. Yeah, like I think the Eagles. Who else is there to look at?
The Bengals?
Dallas with Bijan.
Dallas with Bijan, I would agree. But you're not gonna. I don't think you do because I don't. Tony Pollard's franchise tag.
What else? What are some other good
The
offenses?
Bengals,
The Bengals.
the Bills, maybe.
The Chiefs still. I don't
Chargers,
care.
I mean,
Chiefs.
the 49ers have a really good
Bro,
one.
weren't you saying that Waddle and Hill were like the best duo in like history or some shit like that?
Yeah,
He
well,
did last year.
I
He
was
said
milking
that.
it.
I mean, I
Not
got
on
them.
pace to me.
If they
Not in
milk
history,
it-
but I mean they're good. They're fucking good.
I mean, they're the best duo in the NFL, I think.
So
for
if
sure.
you got the best duo in the NFL and you get one of the maybe top 5 running backs in the NFL,
Yeah, no,
Tell
on
me
paper.
that's not the-
Bro, I think right now the Miami Dolphins have the best team on paper.
all right.
But paper doesn't mean anything.
All right.
Best team on paper?
Yeah. Okay. I do. All right, well, let's just quickly, before we go into turning teams into contenders. Speaking of Waddle, I saw this on Twitter. PFF tweeted it. Choose your wide receiver 2, Jalen Waddle or T. Higgins. Who are you
Jalen Waddle.
choosing? Why?
It's more dynamic.
Is he?
Yeah.
Why?
He's
You're a better route runner.
Fast as
the
shit.
one thing T. Higgins, I think, has over Jalen Waddle is being able to go up and get it. But we've seen Waddle be able to go up and get it as well, just not to the same rate. T. Higgins is a jump ball guy. But I think Waddle's a better route runner. I'd rather take his speed. And, yeah,
He's got a higher ceiling, but T's got a higher floor.
Waddle's more explosive. How much better of a route runner is he, though? You say that.
I think he's a better route runner.
How much better?
I mean, I can't quantify
I don't
it.
watch I don't watch the tape, bro. I just
That's
see what
what-
I see on fucking Red Zone. And I watch Jalen Waddle better. Like
The DVOA, the route running DVOA is definitely
What would you
spectacular.
say?
DVOA.
Their stats
They're both- all
their
right, so-
stats were weirdly similar, too.
Really?
Yeah, their stats.
But they do different things, right?
They
So
do
I would
completely
assume
different things.
Waddle's
team missed
yards
games.
per catch was probably more.
Who's
no?
the highest in the NFL? Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
18.1.
YPC.
It depends what you need.
But I think Waddle could be a 1. You think Higgins could be a 1?
I actually was
Yeah.
going to say the opposite. I think T could be a better 1 than Waddle.
But we saw Waddle already be a 1, though, when he led the NFL as a rookie in catches in a season.
And he
the year
elevated
before.
Tua like that year before because Tua was kind of shaky. And
Tua got
got-
elevated by Tyreek.
No, but when
For
he got
sure.
Waddle, they went like when they win like 16
We won,
minute
yeah,
streak.
we won 10. Yeah, won 10 games, 9 games the year before.
Yeah, and then it was mostly because of Waddle. And again, remember he did that shit because Waddle was going
Fiends for
crazy.
the win, fiends for the win.
Again and again.
I think I'm taking Jalen Waddle, but that's not a secret.
I will too, but it's like not. It's close.
I think it depends what you need. If I have, I think Tyreek and Jalen Waddle is just like a weird combination because they're both similar in how they play.
Do you
So
think Tyreek Hill and T Higgins would be a better duo?
yeah, absolutely.
They complement each other.
That would be
really
way better.
well.
It's the same
And-
thing with
and-
Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
They both would complement each other.
I think I think both of those would be
Yes,
better than what they have
yes,
now.
but-
Weirdly,
Yeah, but Jamar Chase and Waddle wouldn't be. Higgins and Tyreek would be better than Chase and Waddle.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Because
Chase and Waddle, 'cause
Higgins is what?
Waddle's-
Higgins is what, 6'2", 6'3"?
Yeah, he's tall.
Jamar Chase, like, he's actually not big. He plays
6'1".
big.
Jamar Chase 6'1".
So he plays big, but he's not 6'3", Julio.
6'4", T. Higgins.
Exactly.
Ooh,
That's
didn't
why I
know
say
he's
you
that-
give me a
He just
6'4".
feels smaller than 6'4".
Give me
I
a
don't know
he
why.
plays 6'4". Give me a 6'4" guy with Tyreek. Obviously, Tyreek is the number one, but T. Higgins is the X.
It's weird. T. Higgins had 74 receptions in back-to-back years.
That's a good hypothetical. I don't know which of those duos that they switched them would be
Yeah,
better.
I'm curious.
Now that you mention it that way, because like T is 6'4", and then Tyreek's obviously short but fast as shit.
What
Good
would you
route runner.
say? Would you take?
I think-
Who would be all right? Then we'll present it. Who would be the better duo? Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle, or T. Higgins and Tyreek Hill?
Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle.
I'll
Why?
take Tyreek and Hill.
I don't
Or
believe in T.
Tyreek Hill.
Higgins like
Nice.
that. Like I feel like T. Higgins is like deep ball.
Tired,
Man,
bro.
like you don't see him again.
Kind of feel you. I've only seen, and I
go-
agree.
I
I,
go
think
Tyreek
T.
and
Higgins.
T.
T. Higgins was good this year. I mean, he's a top
You're the
15
ultimate
wide
T.
receiver.
Higgins
I just think, like,
hater,
the-
bro. Like,
No,
we all know this.
I've moved the goalpost a little bit
Oh,
for
what,
T.
from
in
30 to
favor.
25?
Yeah, 30 to 20.
You don't think he's
No, I
top
think
20 is where you
no,
put
I
his
think T.
ceiling?
Higgins is a top 15 wide receiver.
Yeah.
But I think he's closer to the 11 to 15 range than he would be to like the top 5.
But so is Waddle.
Yeah, I'd put Jalen Waddle in that range too.
This is a legitimate question. I was wondering because we're talking about route running. I know Waddle's like
I just think Jalen
Waddle
Waddle
has
is
a
way
lot
more
of speed.
dynamic.
Is he actually a good route runner, or
Yes.
is he just a burner on slants and outs?
No, he's a great route.
All right.
He's also
He's
now
I don't watch
Working
enough.
with Tyreek.
I don't watch enough Dolphins. That's why I'm like
He can run
legitimately
more.
asking.
He can run more of the route tree than T. Higgins. I'll tell you that.
I just think that,
I don't watch the tape, so I'm just sitting here.
That's
I
what
don't
I'm
know.
asking though.
I don't watch
That-
film in my
that's-
free time, bro. I watch Love Island in my free time. Like,
That's why I'm asking though, because I feel like a lot of times we confuse just explosiveness out of like breaks or just like pure athleticism, explosiveness with great route running. Like Henry Ruggs wasn't a great route runner; he was just fast as
Yeah,
fuck.
no.
Cooper
Jalen
Kupp,
Waddle was-
though.
Yeah, but exactly,
route
Cooper
runner.
Kupp, great route runner, but not explosive as fuck.
All right, so who are you
Edelman?
taking? Which duo?
If we
The
swap,
hypothetical.
Oh, I'm
duo.
taking Tyreek and T. Higgins easily.
Yeah.
And I think you would too. Let me phrase it a different way for you, right? Because
It's possible. Yeah.
because Tyreek is better than Jamar, right? You think?
Yes.
So imagine what Tyreek would do with fucking T. Higgins.
But I don't know how much better T. Higgins is than Jalen Waddle.
But he complements him better.
I agree.
Because Tyreek and Waddle are the
But I
same
don't
type
have the
of
fucking
receiver.
answers to this. I don't know. It's
It's
purely
so
hypothetical.
yeah.
I think Jamar Chase is an alpha.
If you have a 6-foot receiver,
What?
Matan
Matan
goes
said I'm right.
Felipe's right.
if you have a
Felipe's
6 foot,
right.
if you have a 6-foot receiver, forget skill sets. Forget them. If you have a 6-foot receiver, as another receiver, let's say the 6-foot receiver is really fast and great. The other receiver, would you rather him be 6 foot as well? Or would you rather him be 6'4"?
No, obviously, I want this. I want the height. I want the discrepancies there. I agree they complement each other better, but I don't know if complementary actually translates because who's
To better
fucking
production?
throwing them to the ball? If Joe Burrow's throwing both the ball, they're both gonna pop off. Who the fuck knows?
All right, so I guess there's no answer to
There's
this.
no answer to this. What do you think? All right, let's fucking move away from that.
All right,
Tyreek and Higgins would be nasty though.
Yeah, that'd be nasty,
So
bro.
with Jamar Waddle, bro, are you crazy?
Well, they would both be fucking awesome.
That
There's
would be
no,
fucking real. I ain't gonna lie.
that would be crazy.
still would be as good as Debo and Ayuk, but you know.
I just feel like Chase
Right,
and
right,
fucking
right.
Waddle would be too explosive for people. Like, I don't think you can stop that, bro.
Yeah, but CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup. Ooh, James Washington.
That's
You
a
gotta
good
think
point,
about
bro.
you gotta think about
Good point.
who's throwing who the ball. Like Burrow
No, you
with
guys got
Waddle.
Brandon Cooks.
Yeah,
Think
actually
about
facts.
that.
Yeah.
Think about that. Burrow with Waddle.
J-Bobby, that little noise.
All right.
That'd be nice for sure.
This is our over the last couple of weeks we've been emphasis on the trying to turn NFL teams into contenders off the fucking dome. So today we're going to talk about the South, the NFC South, the AFC South, the South that Jack loves.
Yeah, the South, baby.
Yep.
Come on.
Yep. So let's start with the Falcons. How would we turn the Atlanta Falcons into contenders? Well, first and foremost, you ain't drafting Bijan Robinson at the 8th pick.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Is that
Well, you
consensus?
mentioned it earlier. The defense is getting better.
They have an underrated defense.
I would just keep drafting. You're in a position
Drafting
now
best
where you got to.
available, bro.
It wouldn't shock me if the Falcons won the division. Not that it's a good division, but it would
Nah,
not shock me.
It would shock me.
It wouldn't shock
They
me.
don't. Who's their quarterback?
Desmond Ridder?
I would draft
you
an
think
offensive
Desmond
line.
Ritter's going to be better than like
No,
Derek Carr?
no, but I look at the Panthers and
or Bryce Young with the Panthers, probably. Like,
maybe, but
Here's what
I
I
would
would.
even have Baker Mayfield over
the
Desmond Ritter.
Saints
Desmond
with
Ritter
Derek
is the
Carr
worst.
probably. The Saints with Derek Carr probably win that.
Yeah, that's
division.
what I think. But I'm like, bro, like, if you're ranking the NFC South quarterbacks, Desmond Ritter's the worst.
I think Baker and the Bucks win that division, but that's neither here nor
I
there.
mean, I feel like the easy thing to go is like quarterback, of course. But I feel
No, you
like
don't do that though.
they gotta figure out how to get Kyle Pitts the ball.
I agree.
Like I feel like he's
Yeah.
turning into OJ Howard at this point, bro. Like he has so much
OJ
fucking
Howard. Bro, like
he
all
was
the
so
tools in the
nice. That's a
world,
good
so
point. No,
athletic,
it's a good
big guy.
comparison.
Like,
bro.
Evan Ingram was like that for a minute too.
Yeah, then you got a quarterback, but
Yeah.
that's different. But
Yeah.
I just feel like with Kyle Pitts, I feel like he's so talented. And he's supposed to elevate. You don't know if he's a tight end. You don't know if he's a fucking wide receiver. You
can
don't
do it
know.
all.
But he's still not
He's
getting
just
the
an
fucking
athlete.
ball. And I don't know if that's because his quarterbacks have been ass
It's
or
that.
the Atlanta Falcons have
Both.
not been doing a good job. Of
But
getting
it's
him
the
I think
scheme.
it's
It's
Arthur
the
Smith.
scheme.
It's Arthur Smith. I don't think you're a contender with Arthur Smith. He's a run first guy in a pass heavy NFL.
And that's why if they draft Bijan, you're just going way more into what he wants to do, but it's not something that you can win with in today's NFL.
Listen, man, turn Kyle Pitts into the running back. You make shit happen.
He's fucking athletic enough, honestly. He
I mean,
can do
look,
whatever.
Arthur Smith was the OC for the Titans for many years. So like that's where that ground and pound style came into play, and we saw how far the Titans could go, and the Titans were a better team than the Falcons. So in its current makeup, I just don't think with Arthur Smith as the head coach they can be a contender because they're a run first offense.
But that's the thing is like even when the Titans they were the 1 seed, no one really ever was that scared of them, right? Because you knew their whole offense was just Derrick Henry.
It was
and that's
predicated
it.
off the
Bro,
run.
I feel
If
like
you
it-
have to beat them with your arm, with your passing game, they're not.
But I
gonna
feel
do
like
it.
in run heavy offenses, tight ends usually eat. Like if you look at the Giants, right?
Yeah,
with
it's
Eli,
facts.
like
The-
Kevin
the
Bowles
Ravens.
and people
But bro,
like that.
the
boys
Niners
fucking
right now
eat.
with George Kittle.
Jeremy Shockey, like
oh,
those teams
yeah.
like used to eat. That's the whole point of a
But
tight
Kyle
end.
Pitts is not like a blocking tight end though. Like,
Bro, think about it this way.
That's true.
Lamar Jackson, who does he like to throw to?
Mark Andrews.
I
And
agree.
what do they do? They run.
And what did
Yeah.
they do? They also just moved off of Greg Roman. That wasn't sustainable. They couldn't
also
be a
when you're-
I'm
contender.
not
you're talking-
arguing that, but I'm saying
but-
if he's a tight end in a run first offense,
Jay,
he
but-
should be fucking eating.
I agree with you, but
because it comes off the play action. But when we talk about the guys like that, you're talking about Shockey, Mark Andrews, George Kittle. These guys that are eating on run heavy offenses. They're also all really good blocking tight ends.
exactly.
So they're in there because they can run block and everything, and then you hit him with the play action. You hit him over the
I don't
top.
think Arthur Smith's sitting there being like, we're not going to
All
try
right.
and get Kyle Pitts the ball. I think
You
they
should still scheme for him though.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
That's why I just don't
They
think
schemed for
Arthur
Drake London
You know what the
more
Falcons
last
should
year
do,
than
actually?
fucking Kyle
Get
Pitts.
rid of Arthur Smith.
I mean,
That's fine, maybe.
You got to get Drake London the ball. Like he was a
Yeah.
high pick.
Yeah, hey, USC. Come on.
Yeah. No, what the Falcons should do is draft an offensive lineman in the first round. They have one first round pick.
Fuck if I know.
All right.
give a
you
shit
know all
about-
the you know all the fucking
Yeah, but I didn't write
technical
anything down. I don't
shit.
give a
I
shit
thought
about
you
the Falcons.
usually have that shit
Damn,
written
you're
down.
fucking
though.
mean.
We're relying on you, King.
All right, you draft an offensive lineman in the first round. You trade your second round pick for Cooper Kupp, and then
And then you go get Lamar
Let
Jackson.
him cook, bro.
Yeah, that's good, right? That's good. And then because I don't. Okay, maybe. And then you trade your next year's first round pick for Lamar Jackson. Oh my God, they're immediate Super Bowl contenders.
Lamar
You
looked
fucking
good in
kidding me?
Atlanta.
Lamar Jackson, they could do that too. Because I know the Ravens would be asking for a first and a couple others, and maybe they could wait a year for that. Tyler Huntley, Pro Bowler. Come on, they're okay for a year. So trade next year's first round pick for Lamar Jackson. Now you have Lamar Jackson. You have Algier, or however the fuck you say his name. Top 5 PFF running back, don't forget. You got Drake London, you got Cooper Kupp, you got Kyle Pitts, and then you got an offensive line that you're investing in because you drafted one in the first round.
And they added some guys, too. They added
defense is
Jesse
underrated.
Bates.
And then the defense is pretty good. Honestly, the Falcons would be a sleeper Super Bowl team if they did that. Now that's if they do
if they
like
got
literally
if they got-
everything.
if they got
They do
a
everything
top
right.
5 wide receiver, a top 5 quarterback. Yeah,
But it's
they would
realistic
be.
because, like, I said this last week, but the Rams should fucking get rid of Cooper Kupp. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Nothing. You're not going to
You're
win with
trading
this
away
guy.
everyone else at this point.
You're trading away so many guys, and like you're just not going to win at this point anymore. So get rid of Cooper Kupp, who's 29 years old, like almost 30, right? Or is he 30 yet? I think he's 29, about to be 30. He still has some years ahead of him, but if you're the Rams, you're years away from another run. So I would get rid of Cooper Kupp and just start loading up on draft capital.
Yeah,
which
be like the Thunder. Just get hella first rounders.
Yes, because how did they win? They traded all their capital. So now get your capital back now that you're not competing. And Cooper Kupp could realistically go to Atlanta. If you give him a quarterback, bro,
Hey, nice.
Atlanta with the quarterback would be nasty.
He had a plan in mind and he executed.
If
Hey,
you
well
don't
done,
get
GM.
if you don't get Lamar Jackson, then you're going to be okay this year. Next year, trade the next
Trade the house.
Trade the house to move up and go get Caleb Williams. Now you're in business. The Falcons actually aren't that far.
They're not that far. I agree with you. They're actually not that far. But they'd be far if they drafted like a Bijan.
I'm a Falcons fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
They could win the division.
Great uniforms.
They actually have
All right, let's move on.
amazing
Great logo.
uniforms.
Maybe the best logo in football.
Good logo.
Because it's an
Because
F.
it makes an
You
F.
taught
It's
me
so
that.
cool.
You taught me
It's
that.
cool.
I never knew
I
that.
I
didn't know
realized
that
that
either.
like a year ago and I was like, that's so
All right, let's move on. How are we turning the
Shaking
Carolina
his head.
Panthers into contenders?
Well,
Matt Corral, stardom. No.
they need a quarterback,
Well, they're going to draft Bryce Young.
Correct.
At the 1.
but he needs another year to develop. You're not going to
Yeah.
make him a contender
Yeah,
this year.
let him sit behind a nice, big arm guy, Matt Corral,
But we do. I like Frank Reich. He's a good quarterback coach. He's now their head coach. They got Ike Ekwonu last year, so they've invested in offensive tackle.
Nice.
Right? So we're investing in the trenches.
Fire.
They have an underrated skill
Brian Burns.
position. Brian Burns,
Shout
friend of
out.
the pod.
Was it University School?
University School. Shout out
Yep.
to school. You got Adam Thielen. You got, who else did they add?
Oh, Adam Thielen,
Miles
Shiver Me
Sanders.
Miles
Timbers.
Sanders.
What?
Who else did they add? Shiver Me Timbers.
Bro.
They need a one.
They do need a one. I'm not
Man.
saying that.
No, but they need other things.
They had
ahead of
DJ
that.
Moore and Adam Thielen, then I'd be like, I bet. But
Yeah,
They-
facts. That would be pretty good.
But
Actually.
they were pretty good over the last half of the season. They weren't bad.
They're not. They knew how to
they're
fight.
sneaky.
Yeah, it's sneaky.
They knew how to fight.
But they also
played hard.
didn't they didn't let that guy, the interim head coach, stay the head coach, right?
Yeah.
What was his name?
I don't know, bro.
Fuck if I know.
Fuck. He was a Mizzou defensive coordinator for a little bit
Oh,
too.
you
I should
need to
know
know
this. I don't know.
I don't know. I think.
But
I mean, look, you're doing the right thing by drafting Bryce Young. You got your quarterback. You've invested,
That's facts.
He's
a
a
big
stud,
piece
dude.
in the offensive line.
That's true.
It's just now it's going to hinge on is Bryce Young going to turn into, a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah,
I
but
think
you
he
can't
will.
you can't rush him into that either. Like
I
you got to
agree.
give him time to develop.
I
And
totally
the Panthers,
agree.
they're not a Super Bowl team this year.
Or
Unless
next
Bryce.
year.
But also,
next year.
I think Bryce
Well-
Young is pretty pro ready too. Honestly,
Is he?
the way
I
that
thought
he
Tua was
improvises,
pro-ready.
like
Shit.
Tua wasn't as dynamic as
He was
Bryce
before
Young.
the injury.
Also,
That's
like,
true.
hurt.
Before the injury. You think Tua was as dynamic as Bryce Young?
Tua before the
Did you
injury
watch
was a
Bryce
Heisman
Young?
candidate.
Did you watch Bryce Young in Alabama? He was
Did you watch
fucking
Tua at
crazy.
Alabama too?
I did.
Bryce won the Heisman.
I agree with you,
Yeah.
but Tua didn't win because he got hurt.
Okay, that's true.
Dude,
Tua was
Bryce-
nasty before he got hurt at Bama.
I'm
Bro,
not.
but
Look,
Bryce was-
I'm not saying Tua is better
Bro,
than Bryce.
no.
I'm just saying everyone thought Tua was going to be pro ready, then comes in the NFL and clearly needed a fuck ton of time to.
Well, he's got a mashed
figure it
potato
out.
brain, so it's a little tough.
He
but,
didn't have a mashed
like,
potato brain for a long time. He had a regular brain, and then
it
turned
became
Then he
mashed
started
potatoes.
balling, yeah, and then he turned into.
If anything, he was yeah.
No, but I think Bryce Young's gonna be really, really good. If they don't draft Bryce Young for some reason at the first pick, that's organizational negligence.
Anthony
as you like to
Richardson?
say. Oh my god, what a fucking disaster!
Maybe can.
He wants to be Cam Newton, except
You got a plan
Cam
for the-
Newton,
for the
when
Panthers?
undefeated, won the fucking title. And with a bunch of bums on his team, and
Let-
Anthony Richardson was 6-6 with better players. He's trash.
GM Lipe's got a plan for the Panthers.
You got one?
I got a great
All right,
one.
talk
What you got, bro?
What are we doing?
You draft Bryce Young.
Yep,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
first.
You trade a 3rd-round pick for Mike Evans.
Okay, sure.
A third, little high, but we.
I like
okay.
that.
No,
But
you gotta get your
divisional,
guy,
It's not
kid.
gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen, but we'll go with it.
You'll get Mike, and now you address your situation. Or you said that they need a 1. There you go. Mike Evans is the 1, and
They got
and
another wide
Thielen
receiver.
can play off of that.
DJ Chark, Adam Thielen,
Yeah,
Mike
DJ Chark
Evans.
added that. Yeah,
DJ
wonderful.
Chark didn't really
Okay,
do
so
shit
we've
last
given
year.
up a third.
but
We got
okay.
Bryce Young.
Do they still have who was the running back that actually had a good year?
No, I think he
Jonta?
left. I think he
Shout out
left.
Texas, hook
I
'em.
think he left.
Yeah. So draft Zach Charbonnet in the 2nd round. So now you got running back Zach Charbonnet, running back out of UCLA.
Of course.
I think it's a little
You've been
early.
doing your scouting for.
I have for
Yeah.
my
You're
dynasty
usually
team.
scouting your scouting department.
So you draft the running back out of UCLA, Zach Charbonnet. I think that's how you say his last name. He has a very exotic last name. And then
Chardonnay?
you trade for Chardonnay. And then you you trade for Mike Evans. Now you have your receiver. You have your star running back. He's actually really good. He's going to be good in the league. He can do it all. Good pass catcher, good runner. And then the offensive line is getting better. And you have Bryce Young now. So I think it's a team that is Super Bowl ready in 2024. Not quite 2023, but they could compete for the NFC South.
Nice, dude.
Dude, thanks,
Wow,
bro.
good.
And they have Brian
Good.
Burns, man. And they got,
Friend of the pod.
Luke
University.
Kuechly, Josh Norman. I mean, they have all these guys, bro. Thomas Davis. They just get after the fucking football, bro.
Bro, and Jake
Julius
Delhomme.
Peppers, Jake Delhomme, Steve Smith Sr., bro. Oh, my God. They're good.
Holy shit.
And don't forget Christian McCaffrey
Yeah.
or Jonathan Stewart. Or
All right,
D'Angelo
moving on,
Williams.
Olsen,
moving on.
bro.
Moving on. That's a crazy team. Good luck to them. How are we turning the New Orleans Saints into contenders?
If Derek Carr, remember last year at the beginning of the season,
He was MVP candidate, bro.
Everyone was saying like Derek Carr sleeper MVP candidate, blah blah blah. He's got Devontae now, all this shit. He has flashes of being that guy where he finished, I think, 2nd or 3rd in MVP voting his 2nd year in the league.
Right.
If he can become that guy for the Saints, they can beat anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I think
That's the only way I think they can do it.
in
Personally,
its current
but
roster makeup, I think you need to hope that Michael Thomas can be 80% of what
Yeah.
he once was, because outside of that, Chris
He's gotta
Olave,
be healthy.
Chris Olave and Michael Thomas would be a nasty duo if Michael Thomas was somewhat the same, but he can't stay healthy. So,
do they still have Jarvis?
dude, I think they do still have Jarvis.
I don't know. I don't know
Is
if he's
Kamara suspended?
Not right now.
Not yet.
But I think
that's
Alvin Kamara's
incoming.
under, like, he had a bad year, but Alvin Kamara's still one of the most dynamic running backs in the NFL. Derek Carr's better. Their offensive line, but I don't know. I'm not high on
Defense
Dennis
side.
Allen. I know he's a defensive-minded head coach. They always have a
Jarvis
good defense.
Landry's a free agent still
so
right
shit.
now.
Yeah.
Wow.
They don't really have many pieces. I think you need to expect Michael
You don't fuck
Thomas.
with Olave?
I do, but you need another wide receiver outside of Olave.
Olave's
Michael
nice.
Thomas-
Olave's nice, but he's not a 1.
Olave's nasty.
I think
He's not a
like,
one
you
right
keep-
now.
If
That's
Michael
true.
Thomas can be 80% of what he once was,
Michael
and then you
Thomas
have
comeback
Olave,
season, bro. He's about to have a 1,000-yard season, 10 touchdowns. I can see it.
I don't know if he'll play 10 snaps. Like,
Nah, he's nah. This is Michael Thomas's year. Michael Thomas is him. Michael Thomas. I
breaking
think,
news from Felipe Fonte.
Michael Thomas is gonna have a good year, man. Like,
Oh, they
I-
did get-
what? Go
They got a
ahead.
first-round pick from the Sean Payton deal. That's big.
Oh, right.
Good
They
job,
would have had
guys.
2 firsts, but they
Maybe they get a
traded
Quentin
one to
Johnson.
the Eagles. In the C.J. Gardner-Johnson deal, I think it was.
What should they trade then? Like, or what should they draft? What
Well,
position?
I don't fucking know. This division sucks.
They got a decent defense though.
They do, but
Cam
All
Jordan.
right, here's what you do. Here's what you do if you're the
All
New
right.
Orleans Saints.
All right,
Felipe.
You draft. Do we know what pick it is in the first round?
somewhere.
You draft Quentin Johnston in the first round. Yes, he's a risk.
29.
29. Quentin Johnston's probably going to be there. You draft Quentin Johnston in the first round. Yes, he's a risk. Big play guy, very raw. But
Flashes of Michael Thomas in his prime, huh?
honestly, more explosive, better, more straight line speed.
Just pull something.
He just needs to put it together.
Okay.
So, opposite of Chris Olave.
Of
Because
course.
Chris Olave is a very dynamic, smaller receiver, good route runner, and stuff like that. You need a big guy. If you can get him to reach his potential, then you have a really good receiving duo, one of the best in the league.
And then Michael
You
Thomas.
still have AK, like you said. You still have Michael Thomas, who's going to have a good year this year, could bounce back
What,
season.
1,500 yards, 2,000?
What you say? Yeah.
1,200, 10 touchdowns,
Nice.
What, like 115 catches?
83 receptions. Michael Thomas going to have a comeback season. So now you're talking about one of the best skill sets in the league. We were talking about like the Dolphins, other teams. The Saints are right there once they draft Quentin Johnston
Of
and he
course.
develops. And then Derek Carr needs to have a good year. They're actually, you know what, the Saints, man? Sleeper Super Bowl team.
He's going to say this for every team. He's going to say for everyone, if you just follow my GM.
Do what I say, dude. Like,
Well, what else? How do you address like the secondary on that team? You still got Lattimore. He's nice.
The defense actually isn't bad. They still have Demario Davis. They can get after the passer.
Oh, Davis underrated linebacker.
Very good linebacker.
Top 5 in PFF.
Top 5 PFF, and we love PFF. Shout out Mike Renner and Sam Munson.
No
Guest of the
longer,
pod.
Mike.
No longer PFF,
right.
Mike.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Just
All right, we
Mike.
got to move on, though.
Go Saints, Super Bowl team. Do what I said. Draft Quentin Johnston. I'm telling you, TCU product, Texas, Fort Worth.
Texas, come on.
Oh, man. All right, and last but not least in the NFC South, how are we turning the Bucs into Super Bowl contenders?
All right, who can they draft?
Nah,
in
they're
the
far.
process?
Get rid of Baker Mayfield.
They might be the furthest team, bro. They're 4. And
Only
Devin White
because
wants
of
to get
Baker,
traded.
though.
I don't,
Honestly.
Nah, they really
necessarily
fell
agree
apart
with
last
that.
year.
I don't necessarily agree with that. Baker, it was on a shitty Rams team, though.
Yeah, but the Bucks were bad. The Bucks were really
Dolphins
bad.
a lot. I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Offensive line.
It was bad. That's my point.
Brady
line
wasn't
was bad,
wasn't
but we
good
can-
last
He
year.
wasn't, but is
though.
Baker going to be better than Brady?
They still have weapons. They
I
still
mean,
have
dude,
pieces
Baker
on
Mayfield.
defense.
I'll take Baker over Brady any day of the week, bro.
They still
At any point in his career, bro.
they still have pieces on defense. So you still have the Antoine Winfields, the Carlton Davises of the world.
I mean, like, and they still have Devin White. And
Like,
he's-
I don't
wants
agree with you
to
to
leave.
say
He
that
wants to
they're the
leave.
farthest. I don't agree with you to say that they're the furthest away. Obviously, Baker may not be the same quarterback, but we know that you could be an average quarterback and take a team to the Super Bowl. So I think Baker, he might be a bridge guy, and they obviously need a quarterback, but they probably win the division with Baker Mayfield. If that offensive line can
Whoa.
improve, yeah.
You think they win the division
You're
with
predicting
Baker?
the Buccaneers to win the division?
Yeah, I don't think that's a hot take.
I think the
So
Saints.
hot.
That's
Nah,
hot as
play.
shit. The Saints will win.
I don't
Saints will
think
win
it's
the
hot. I don't think it's that hot.
Did I say they are
the
gonna
division
win?
is garbage.
I'm saying
But-
they could win the division.
division. Say it with your chest.
The Buccaneers are him.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers can win the division.
Will or can?
Can.
Okay.
Well, shit.
Will, I don't fucking know. What do you think?
I don't know anything about the Bucks right now. I get a lot. I'm lost to the Bucks.
Man,
I don't know.
Remember Roberto Aguayo?
I can't.
What a bad
that-
pick.
A second-round pick on a kicker?
First.
We got to move forward.
First.
But I
First?
think
I
the
thought it was
Bucks-
second.
No, first
Nah, I thought
round.
it was late first.
It was like 17th overall. Something
No
like
way. It was the first round. They
Bruh.
that. Yeah. Roberto Aguayo.
Hold on. Let's
Hey,
get confirmation.
The only 2 kickers ever to be drafted in the first round went to Florida State. Fun fact: Sebastian Janikowski. I don't know why I know that.
Nice. I don't know. I think the Bucks like.
I think he was drafted like
From a-
17th
Obviously,
overall.
you'd rather
bro.
have. Find out where he was drafted. I think you'd rather
Round
obviously-
two.
Oh, round 2.
Round
Sorry,
259.
2.
You'd rather
So
have
that was a bullshit
You'd rather have a
stat,
higher ceiling quarterback than Baker because you feel like you know what Baker is. But I think Baker is someone that can get you to the playoffs and potentially win a game. You need to reinvest in that offensive line. I still think you have all the pieces
Still got
there. The
Tristan
Mike Evans,
Wirfs.
the Chris Godwin,
Yeah.
the Tristan Wirfs of the world, the Antoine. Like there's pieces at big positions. I don't think the Bucks are that far off. It's just,
I'm
it was
excited
a
to
tough
watch.
year.
I'm excited to watch Baker because like now there's no real pressure on him at
Yeah.
all or anything. I feel like
That's true.
He can just go out there and play, and he's got talent around him.
Yeah.
So I mean, can you
I
win a
think all
Super Bowl
the-
with Baker Mayfield?
We've always said
Absolutely not.
It's the
but,
trenches.
Yeah.
And last year the trenches were bad, and that's why Brady was bad. So invest in the trenches, and that's how you become a
and
contender.
honestly, if you're the
They
Bucks,
need-
if Baker
honestly,
sucks, you're not
They
mad.
need a new coach.
They do.
I mean,
Well,
Todd
honestly,
Bowles.
I
Tom
think
Bowles, I'm a Jets fan.
I
so
know,
I
I
know.
knew it was
So,
coming.
he's ass. He doesn't have anything. He's not a player's guy. At least from
Bro,
what I've
get him.
seen, he doesn't have any motivation. You don't look at him and be like, "Yo, Todd Bowles." Nah, Bruce Arians was that. And
I
he
don't
tried
know
to-
why they ever tried to force him out. Just because of Brady, right? Like,
Yeah, kinda. Yeah. So he
I
tried to
don't
play
think Bruce was
puppeteer.
forced out. I thought Bruce wanted to retire.
no, I think I'm
Well, he
like,
was
I
having
thought I
like
saw-
health complications and shit.
He
like that.
retired.
I thought I saw reports that he was like kind of like forced to go
Well,
down.
there
that
was
route.
some
I think
reports that Tom Brady and him had some issues, but
Yeah.
also he did have some health issues. So I mean, it could.
I
be
think
Tom
he
once goes,
retired.
bro.
I
But
think he
regardless
retired.
of the fact, I think Todd
'Cause he's
Bowles
still
ain't
with the
shit. Yeah.
Todd Bowles,
ain't
yeah.
shit.
Oh, that's
Todd
true.
Bowles is not the guy.
He's just a defensive guy.
Yeah.
Neither is Byron Leftwich, though. Did they let Byron Leftwich go, or is he still the OC?
I
You
feel
know
like
shit about the Bucks.
Yeah, I don't know shit.
But the Bucks, though, the only thing that concerns me about the Bucks, like, yeah, they're not even far from their Super Bowl win, right? A couple of years, I guess, 2020 or some shit, 2021. But the fact that all these players want to leave, right? I mean, it's more than Devin White. Was there other guys asking for requests, or am I tripping?
Wasn't Winfield?
Blanking out. Fucking linebacker.
Yes,
Oh, the
Devin
other
White.
linebacker,
White.
not White.
Levante David too?
Levante David.
Devontae David left, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, David. Yeah, okay.
Oh, no, he might have got re-signed.
No, I think he's.
I just know
still
Devin White's asking for a trade. I don't think Mike Evans is
No,
happy
he's still in the
there.
Bucks. He's still in the Bucks.
I don't
He was
know.
signed.
Okay, I don't know what it was, but I think he might have, liked somebody else's tweet or something like that. One of those like Adam Nuggets insider info.
Yeah.
But I just don't think I have a feeling that the Bucks are just imploding. Like they just don't have what
it
it
feels
takes.
almost like a smaller version of like with the Rams.
Exactly.
what's
Yeah,
happened
but
there,
you would
like-
trade, you would implode a couple years out if it meant winning a Super Bowl.
Exactly. I'm not.
That's what I
That's
think,
all I'm
like,
saying. I'm
that's
saying
like
get
with
rid
the
of Mike
Bucks.
Evans.
With the Bucks, I'm like, I don't think they really care if Baker starts stinking it up. You're going to see them
They're-
trading all those guys, and they're going to be like,
Yeah.
fuck it, let's just go get Caleb Williams or Drake May.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's fine.
All
And
right,
that
let's-
might be how you become a contender, is by sucking for a year
Yeah,
and
that's-
getting draft capital. And
Long-term windows, baby.
Yeah.
All right, let's rapid fire the AFC South. How we turn the Titans into contenders?
Shit, I
Titans?
thought we were done here.
Titans.
Damn.
To be honest, I think
think
the
they're
Titans.
fucked.
The
The
Titans,
Titans are
fucked.
really far.
You still got Mike Vrabel, though. I like Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, but they're
Good head
far.
coach,
They're
but-
years away from being a
They're
contender.
cooked.
Yeah.
They need to trade for a quarterback.
They need a quarterback.
They're selling off assets for a reason. You lost AJ.
Malik,
should get rid
Malik
of
is not
Derrick
the
Henry.
answer at quarterback.
No.
Like,
They're far off. They're
You need to
years
get rid
away.
of
So-
dude,
Derrick.
like you saw how happy Bobby Trees was to leave there.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, really? What?
He just hated being in Tennessee. He's
Bro.
like, it's
did
a
he-
death sentence being a receiver going to Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
No,
They're fucked.
That was
I was gonna say
The way you guys looked at each other was very romantic.
Patriots way, like I feel like all those coaches rub their players
Yeah.
the wrong way. Like,
Vrabel is the guy
I
like that.
think Vrabel's a good.
He's a player.
I mean, he's a
player
players coach because he played, but at the same time, like I feel like players don't want to fucking deal with that shit. And then when you have that ground and pound mentality,
That's
and your
fair.
fucking quarterback like sucks. Like you
Yeah.
get tired of that shit. Like you say, it's a destination where there's no man's land for a wide
Yeah,
receiver.
and it's hard to get talent
true.
to
And
want
if
to
you-
come there when that's your
Yeah,
offensive
and that's
scheme.
your philosophy every single
Yeah.
year. It's just like I'm kind of over this shit. Like I don't want to block.
Yeah,
8 fucking
facts.
Times a game, like
Yeah, you want to run block
I
7
want to catch some shit.
plays.
Like you see these receivers, like for instance, you fucking Bobby Trees, you go from like shit Jared Goff and the boys, and you're putting up numbers and you become a fucking
Yeah.
legend to a fucking blocking wide
But
receiver.
when they
Why
got
would
him
you wanna
last
be
year, I was
there?
like, oh, that's a good pickup. Like Robert Woods, good pickup.
Yeah, now it's
Coming off an
like,
ACL though. All right, how are we turning the Texans into contenders?
I'll tell you how.
Yeah, tell me.
You
the
know,
floor is yours.
I'm Jackie Texans over here. So what you do is you fucking tank like crazy this year.
So who do you draft?
You draft Will Anderson, awesome edge rusher. You have him getting coached up by D'Amico Ryans on that defense. That's nice. That's nice. He's gonna be a stud. And then you just say,
He
fuck
gonna be a
it.
stud.
You say, fuck it. We're rolling with big ass neck David Mills all year. He's gonna
That's
suck
okay.
it up.
That's okay, yeah.
And that's fine. That's what we want. We want to suck so we can get Caleb Williams
That's
or so we
facts.
can get Drake May.
Facts.
Because you know what?
They don't have
Anyone
Deshaun
besides
Watson.
Bryce Young is not the answer at quarterback for this franchise, or in my opinion, honestly, any franchise. Especially with the way the Texans are right now. Like you gotta go out and get a stud. You can't just be gambling on someone right now, I don't think.
Yeah, but what if
So-
Caleb Williams signs with David Mulgeta?
Oh,
He's one of the best agents in the NFL.
Then you get Drake May. Drake May's a stud.
All right, so backstory.
Drake May's going to win the Heisman next year if
Backstory-
it's not Caleb
yeah.
Williams.
You want to give the
so.
backstory on that?
Context: former PFF analyst Mike Renner. I was gonna say Mike Mayock. Former PFF analyst Mike Renner came on last week and he said that the Texans specifically are not looking at C.J. Stroud because he has the same agent as Deshaun Watson, and the Texans have gotten rid of 2 other guys who had the same agent. So they're
Yeah.
definitely.
Honestly,
I mean, you would lead you to
make
believe
sense.
that they're
That's
not
fine.
looking at C.J.
I don't think
Stroud.
C.J. Stroud's worthy of a second overall pick. Like we said, like the Jared Goff comparisons that he's gotten is like pretty spot on. I don't know if you can
Yeah,
win.
I've seen
I
Goff.
would
I've seen
agree. I
If
would
Cousins.
that's
actually-
his ceiling, I don't know if you can win like that. Like
Yeah, I'm not crazy about them drafting C.J. Stroud. I think I completely
Will
agree. I think
Anderson
he had a
is-
great take. I think he had a great take.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he
Thanks.
had a great take.
Great way.
They're years out, but D'Amico Ryans, you got the right coach in there. You got a guy that can build a defense. You get a defensive stud.
Little
in it.
defense is nothing too, but if you get a stud like Will,
You get a Will Anderson. You have quarterbacks in their early of next year. Patience. You gotta have
Patience.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
I
team you
think-
need patience with.
2025. Watch out for the Houston Texans, baby. They're back.
I have nothing else to add on what Jack eloquently stated.
We love that word, eloquent.
I just think that Will Anderson, after they've had J.J. Watt, Davian Clowney, I think that
Be
Will
fun to
Anderson would
have.
follow in line
Yep,
very
yep,
well.
yep.
All right.
Getting coached up by a guy that played with JJ.
How are we
Watt.
turning the
Oh,
Jacksonville
gosh.
Jaguars into contenders?
They're close,
They're already
bro.
contenders.
yeah,
They're already
they're
contenders.
Defense. You gotta get a little better on defense.
Yep.
I don't know what the pieces are that you had to add for that because I don't know the Jaguars roster off the top of my head.
What pick they have? You know? He's like, no fucking idea.
But let's talk about
Let me figure this
talk
out.
about that offense. Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Calvin Ridley, fucking Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram. That's
They
nice.
have, bro.
That's
got
nice.
pieces.
They have one of the best.
They have 9 total picks.
Oh
5
my
of the 9 are their
God.
own.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
They have the 24th overall pick.
Nice.
So whatever. I think the
25th.
25th, 24th. I
25th.
think the Jags are really close. I think obviously I'm worried about that offensive line. You lost Juwan Taylor, but so you keep building the trenches. We keep saying that defensive pieces. The Jags are right there. They're already contenders in the AFC. Yeah, facts.
Well, they should.
Let me see who the game day.
handily win that division.
Yeah.
It shouldn't even be close.
They should. They should.
Let me see who the game day has.
We got to move on, though. We got to
Cam
move on.
Smith, cornerback from South Carolina.
All right, sick. Moving on.
Corner would be good for them.
Yeah, it'd be great. The Jags
Now,
are
I
close.
say get an offensive lineman and block Trevor Lawrence. Give him a little bit. Give him 2 more seconds of protection.
Yeah.
2 more seconds.
2 more seconds
of protection.
The average is like
Quality
2 points.
protection.
So right now he's got 0.4.
Maybe Trayvon. What's his name?
Walker.
Maybe he plays well this year.
Yeah, maybe.
That would
The
be
Jags
cool.
are already contenders.
Yep. Okay.
Hell yeah, dude.
And last but not least, how we turning the Colts into contenders.
Pray.
Draft Anthony Richardson.
They're actually not far either. They're not far either.
They need a quarterback. That's
No, what? But that's
But
a
they could
long.
get one.
That's a
Offensive
long
line
play.
sucks.
The Anthony Richardson's a long play.
offensive line sucked last year though. We need to rebuild those trenches. Quentin Nelson.
Quentin Nelson's not that dude anymore.
Yeah, he
At
is.
least last
He was
year
just
he
hurt.
wasn't.
I
was just
actually
hurt.
do think the Colts are one of those teams where they'd be super overlooked. They get a quarterback, the quarterback overperforms, early on, and then they're like right back to it. Because the Colts were a playoff team, and then they just went downhill.
yeah.
So
They were a
I
dark
think
horse for a lot of people last year.
reinvest in the offensive
including
line.
me.
Get your quarterback, obviously, whether that be Anthony Richardson. I don't think it's Levis.
Matt Ryan's still there though, right?
Nah, he's not.
or
He's a free
It's not
agent.
gonna be
is he
Matty
gonna do
Ice.
retire?
I guess
but-
he hasn't signed with anybody, so.
Shit.
I don't know. I think the Colts, they obviously need it's the offensive line and a quarterback. Those to me, that
Yeah,
division's open. Obviously, the Jags should win it, but like
Nah, the
it's-
Jags, that's locked
Here's my
down.
thing.
Jacksonville.
I don't
So
think
do
it's
you?
locked
If
down.
you're the Colts, do you take a gamble at 4? Do you take a gamble on Anthony Richardson, knowing that he could be a huge fucking bust, and then damn, our window is closing with these guys that we have right now? Or do you draft a guy that's more pro ready, like C.J. Stroud? What would you rather do if you're the Colts? Because C.J. Stroud ceiling is not even close to Anthony Richardson's,
I'm going
but you
for the
know he
ceiling.
can probably play pretty well and get you guys to the playoffs.
To be
but,
honest,
but Anthony Richardson could be
there's-
Zach Wilson
To
or
be
worse.
honest, all these guys can be. You could be Zach Wilson. You could be Josh Allen. Like nobody
No,
fucking knows shit how they're actually going to pan out and translate.
C.J. Stroud is really accurate. Like I think
but we
he's
don't
going to be
know.
okay.
We don't know. The thing is, we don't know. So if CJ Stroud falls to whatever pick the Colts are, what are they?
4.
4, then sure, take him. Because if he drops, he was supposed to be number 2. If he drops, great. Take CJ Stroud.
I think it's Texans 2, Cardinals 3.
Cardinals
I don't
might
think either
trade
of them
out.
are taking a quarterback.
Yeah. Well, the Cardinals are definitely not. Texans clearly won't take Stroud. If CJ Stroud drops to the Colts, that's the Colts' best case scenario. That's how they turn into contenders. I do
Yeah.
believe
If Stroud and Richardson are there, I'm taking Richardson.
Really?
The reason why is because you have, I know their offensive line needs to get better, but you have a generational running back with you. So that's going to help Richardson's development for sure. Like
They'd be fun to watch together.
You don't need him to air it out and make all these rookie mistakes because you can lean on the run. You can rely on the run. Jonathan Taylor can carry a boatload of that offense, and Anthony Richardson from there can rely on his athleticism.
Yeah.
Like we've seen quarterbacks have success when they have a system around them.
It's hard too though because they don't really have many receivers. Like they got
It's also
Michael
a new-
Pittman, Alec Pierce.
Pittman's
like,
good,
The
but they
reason
need to go after guys.
We're going to
yeah.
end it at this
Yeah.
because we got to wrap up. The reason I don't go Anthony Richardson is because I don't trust Shane Steichen, who's coming from Philadelphia. He's a new head coach, running his own system. We've
that's
never
fair.
seen him, sure, you could say he developed Jalen Hurts, but I'm not going to.
Bobby loves AR-15. What would you do?
I'll take AR-15. I'm always for the upside because I feel like at the end of the day, like if you bomb and you don't get AR-15, there's quarterbacks in the next draft. Let's just say the Colts are horrible fucking again. I feel like you go out and get another quarterback at this point.
That's
but I
what's
just think
nice,
AR has so much potential. I think you pull the trigger because I think with quarterbacks, I don't care what anybody says. At the end of the day, if you draft a quarterback and you miss on that, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're supposed to do. You're going out to get your franchise quarterback.
Zach Wilson.
And
And I'm fine with that. Like
Yeah,
he
and
sucks.
the hit
but I
rate
just
on
think-
those is so low. Like on the hit rate, I feel like on quarterbacks drafting is so
Yeah.
low. Too.
Yeah.
Like
So
you just got to go out and keep doing it.
I think
keep firing.
it is what it is. Like Zach Wilson sucks, and we should move on for that. I feel like when we had Zach Wilson, to me it didn't make sense.
Yep.
But I feel like with AR, the potential, the upside, it makes so much sense. So yeah.
All right,
It's-
well,
yeah. It's not. That's what's nice about having Caleb Williams and Drake May next year is that there's 2 franchise dudes, probably depending on how they play this year.
sheesh. All right,
Might be
well, we're
next
going to
Matt
wrap up
Barkley,
this
I don't know.
episode of Caps
That was
Off.
long
The
as
Colts,
fuck.
yeah, that was a long Colts
Yeah, bro.
conversation. But, we're going to be at the
It's good,
draft starting tomorrow in Kansas City. So if you see us, definitely say hello. We're going to be recording in our Airbnb on Wednesday and right after the draft as well, after the first round. So definitely stay tuned for that.
Yeah,
Also, go check out
emphasis.
J Bobby versus the Internet on TikTok. on Instagram, on YouTube, everything, where J Bobby is debating pretty much the internet, right?
YouTube. No, NBA, baby.
NBA now. All right, we'll see you next time.
Basketballs.
Bye.
Disagree with any of these takes? Let us know in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe. If we get to 10K subscribers, Jack is getting an ass tat, so share with your friends if you want to see that happen. And for any sports betting promos and advice, head over to thegameday.com. You're going to find everything.